and some labor. So primarily, whatever we can do internally to reduce expenses, so that would be losses, and possibly try and increase the income.
That's right, yeah.
Is there any other thing you think we're weak on? Certainly it's not Cindy or on that side, but as a business, is there anywhere else we're weak?
It's a lot easier to increase the rates a little at a time versus waiting too long and then trying to increase them a lot.
Right.
I keep that in mind, and yeah. So that's kind of, and that same principle goes in business in general. But I think that's what I'd recommend there as far as rate increases. Of course, you can get a rate study conducted. They're expensive to do, but I don't know if have you had a rate study before?
A long time ago. I think, how many years ago?
Back when we had this increase whenever it was.
2011 through 14.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
They went up dramatically from, because of the financial condition of the district.
Well, it's just what you said. We waited, it was before me, but they waited too long to an increase.
Right.
And now we had this massive one, and the people accepted it. I mean, still, Mazzatini was, because it's the 218, might not even get that either.
Yeah, but they're still complaining.
But
Oh, yeah.
but the district went from bankrupt to having $1 million when the drought started. It's the only way we survived the drought was having that $1 million to get the grants and get what we got done, got our wells and stuff. So we're way ahead. Still got the $1 million back, but you're really telling us it's weak. It's not
And another thing about rates, it's easier to increase rates when everything else is increasing, because there's the mindset there that everything else is going up. Okay, well, our water rates are going to go up too. So there's almost a built-in acceptance of the fact that, well, everything else is going up. Well, the water rates are going to go up too. Versus, that not being the case. So actually, this is a good time, to look at that.
During that rate increase, it was interesting because I was running and some other people, but there was a lady who was saying, I will lower your water rates, We were trying to get that increase at the time. It was tough. We did get it. We lucked out. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
comments?
I don't have anything.
Nellie? Any comments? Any public comment?
Well, I do want to say that the sewer department right now did not put in a rate increase to the people here in Lake Don Pedro. And they just got notices that over the next 3 years, they will be raised 300%. So I'm not sure how this will all play into people's mind if you do it right now. Because of this other thing. It's not that many people in Don Pedro because not that many people get sewer, but it really hit them hard, those people.
Yes.
So, and they didn't raise, you guys raised this since then, so hopefully it wouldn't be a 300%. So hopefully it wouldn't be a 300%.
That would be nice.
Right?
That would be nice.
Right?
That would be nice.
Right?
That would be nice.
Right? So, and they didn't raise, you guys raised these since then, so hopefully it wouldn't be a 300%.
That'd be nice.
Right?
He has for a
You
while.
haven't
but-
accepted that sewer increase yet, and if you
No,
don't, a
it's
private
still-
company's gonna, if you do, a private company will take it over, then you get no choice, because there won't be a public agency telling you, you know, you won't get a 218, they'll just say, guess what? So your choice, you're gonna have to ready.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know, I feel for those people. I don't have sewer.
Oh, I thought you did.
That deficit that should be zeroed out that you were talking about, because of our small customer base, is about $19 a month increase.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's doable.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just kind of giving us an order of magnitude in order to zero that number out. But that includes funding the liabilities that we haven't funded in the past. You know, we funding the depreciation and funding the OPEB liability. I mean, it's right. It should be, but
Which part of the bill would that go on? I mean, would that be the $2 per unit, or would it be the $50?
it's
Service charge usually, isn't it?
fixed. These are fixed. I mean, it's expenses throughout. We'd have to look at it. The rate consultant would look at the cost of operation, you know, to make sure that we've got the right cost captured in the commodity rate, and then but in all reality, ours is typically about 90% base cost, just because of our size. So it's kind of hard to calculate it on water consumption, because
If you do a per unit charge, people can then say, well, I'll just use less water, because so that's why you gotta do it on a fixed cost.
Right.
That's why we did what we did,
Mhm.
because we knew what we would have. People have control, and if there's a drought or something, and there's really cutting back, you're gonna, at least you have your fixed cost if people are using a lot less water. So it's gotta be that service fee that's the constant, and the one that's raised.
Oh, yeah. And that's where you get all the people that live out of state or
We've already
coming to
seen
live
that.
here, that's stuff.
Okay, any other questions for John? If not, thank you very much, John.
All right.
thank you. You guys did a good job.
I hope you heal up
Yeah, stay off the
quickly.
ice.
All right, getting that onto the agenda.
It's a routine, normal thing. It's not unusual to have those things occur, and state agencies ask for stuff all the time. It's just kind of a bummer when they get misinformation and then we have to respond to it.
It says, well, number one, power budgeted as operating full-time to meet the demand customers located outside. My request there is, you can budget whatever well is the cheapest to provide water in our outside place of use customers, because the wells were put in for the community, and so let's maximize the benefit of the options that we have.
When I first got here, I had a property owner for the same property that I was working on in 1997 when I left here, that was supposed to develop then, that was considering developing now.
I mean, there were 6 or 7 subdivisions that wanted water. Some are annexed, some are not. Some have pipes, some don't. Some pay money, some don't. It's all over the place. And it's all over the place because the original license, 11395, wasn't followed. And it clearly was done intentionally. If you go back and you look at the records in the 1980s, you heard discussions in this room. People arguing, is it in or is it out? Russ Snyder said it's in. He went out there and did it, and it was in. And it was out. And it went on and on and on like that. And Danny, you're being very disingenuous when you talk about for the community. Your definition of community is a far cry of what mine is. My community are the people that are entitled to the Merced River water. They're the people that bought the property with all the rules and the regulations, a CID, a community development, with all the strings attached to their property with that. But the one thing we had was water. And that's what everybody wants. They don't want our property, they don't want our rules, they don't want to live in the subdivision, they just want the water. And even before you were on the board, you were talking about doing that. And you got on here and you did it. And the way you did it, personally, I think is criminal. And the way you did it, personally, I think is criminal. And the way you did it, personally, I think is criminal. And the way you did it, personally, I think is criminal.
You can see what we've contributed.
Missions activities.
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 You can see what we've contributed.
End of messages.